Before we begin, it's that time. That's right. Sponsor mentioned Scratch Labs, everybody. The results are in, and Scratch Lab has the best tasting, easiest on the gut hydration option out there. And I do believe Sam is not here tonight, but he described it best. The strawberries and cream is like when you have Captain Crunch Crunch Berries and the milk gets strawberry flavory, and then you get to drink that. It's like a reward after you finish your bowl of cereal. That's what strawberries and cream tastes like. And you put it in, you get home from a ride, you put it in a shaker bottle with ice in it, and you shake the shit out of it, and it's brilliant. I finally had it this weekend, and I am like, oh no. Oh, can I have another?
Cereal milk.
Yeah, it's so good. It's a masterpiece, best served cold. Get over to scratchlabs.com today and get started on your road to proper fueling. Next off, Mojo Cyclery and Reynolds Wheels. Guys, we got to keep thanking those guys because Jackson is rolling on some beautiful black hoops. And I think David is. And
I am also.
Sam is. Paul and I are still on
rim brakes.
Yeah, ancient. Sam's got rim brake. Reynolds, though.
Does he?
Yeah. Big thanks to Mojo Cyclery for taking care of us. They are Spokane's home for gravel, but they do so much more. MojoCyclery.com or go over to 1405 North Argonne if you're in Spokane. Finally, new sponsor alert, everybody. Huel. Huel stands for human fuel, and that it is among their amazing selection of real food. I am currently enjoying the Black Edition shake with 40 grams of protein per meal. It's super convenient, super tasty. I have the chocolate and I add a few fresh blueberries in it. And again, I keep it cold. I make the shake with a little ice in it and I keep it cold the whole time. Made from real ingredients like coconut, sunflower seeds, brown rice, and flax seeds. This is my go-to morning fuel. It equates to just $2.50 per meal. That's pretty cheap. Be sure to get to Pack Filler and use the link today and not only support the show, but grab great tasting, affordable meals. There we go. Trust me, sponsors are over. And we go to the theme.
Cheers.
Cheers.
It's joules,
Cheers.
not amps.
Prost.
200 joules.
Joules.
Yeah.
Because 200 amps would
That's
probably
a-
kill a man.
That's what it gets into your house.
Yeah, that's
When they burn your house.
it's like the whole entire panel, right?
Yeah.
It's a
That's
200 amp
200 amps.
service. All right,
Wow.
so that's what we'll do.
That's
We'll
why
just
my
hook you up.
neck's sore.
Yeah. Just take it to my
That's
apartment.
30 feet. I think
Yeah.
he flew
Yeah.
30 feet.
I'm trying to think of an electrocution scene from a movie that would apply well. Oh well.
Damn your eyes. You remember that?
Too late.
Yeah. Too late.
Okay, according to the comments from last week, our listeners apparently like it when we're mean to each other. So we're gonna have to try and keep things above the belt tonight, everybody. So they just want us to fight. Welcome to America. Welcome to Life on Two Wheels. Welcome to the Pack Filler Cycling Podcast, the longest running cycling podcast. We're on episode 383.
Wow.
We are live in the Rim Break Bar. I am Pat Bolger, and let's see who's here, shall we? Let's do it. Icebreaker. What is, and this can be cycling or non-cycling if you want, everybody. What is the fashion trend, current or old, that drives you the most crazy? Drives or has driven. So fashion trend, cycling or off the bike, that you were just like, oh God, no. Why? Okay? We got it? I had a pause while the theme is still playing. First of all, he's the only guy here who had a parade to celebrate his new house, Mr. Paul Main.
Yeah, I did. We just hung out in our little, my wife calls it the Stube.
I love it.
Stube.
It's the Stube.
It's das ist the Stube. And the Weinstube oder Bierstube.
I like it.
Das ist gut. And anyway...
Better than Jens' voice.
This is how you guys talk to each other? Mein Frau? Yeah.
They just they only speak in German.
Yeah.
German accent.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyway, we did watch a German, there's a German show that we get ZDF, which is a German channel, and we watched its
Are you able to keep up with it?
Rosenheim Cups. I get half speed. I have to pause. Renee, is this what's happening? And it helps me understand.
Really?
I still speak rubbish German. Okay. So, but yeah. Anyway, yes, the parade went by, and just like on the other side of our building,
Yeah.
you could hear it. And,
Yeah.
yeah.
Every year in lovely Spokangeles, we have the Lilac Parade.
It's a big one.
Paul happened to have moved onto the route.
Did I miss the lilac bread?
Yes,
You did.
it was last Saturday.
Yeah.
Did you miss the
Dang.
entire last 2 minutes of the podcast?
I missed the entire last weekend.
Yeah.
So,
Work.
yeah.
Working.
Dang.
Yeah. Paul, you got a fashion trend that drives you the most crazy.
Yeah, and it's a little bit of cycling and fashion, normal clothes fashion.
Okay, crossover.
Yeah. What was it? Probably in the 2008, 9, and 10 when fixers were around and skinny jeans and guys' ass and the short little bar, straight bars on fixies.
Yeah.
That was just stupid all the way around. There wasn't anything that would serve a good purpose.
Well,
Other like this guy is sitting there going, the proper gear to have is a 4216.
Yeah.
So you can hop the back wheel and you can lock it up for braking and blah, blah, blah. And he's got, I'm like,
Brakes
listen
are
to this
dumb,
guy.
man.
Yeah.
Why would you use brakes?
Yeah.
They're useless.
Now, how many fixies do you see out?
None. They're all
Yeah.
all the riders are dead.
How would you feel if I told you, there's a place you can go where the 90s are still alive?
Yeah. Portland?
In Portland, Oregon, yep.
Dream of the night.
Yep.
Portlandia.
Yeah.
There's a reason that show's a hit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are they still pretty
Yeah.
over there?
Oh, yeah. It's big. That trend never died there.
Really?
Yeah.
I do remember there was a movie a while back. What was the
Quicksilver.
No, the more recent one.
Premium Rush.
Premium Rush, where
Yeah.
they were talking about like going, oh my God, brakes are dangerous. You gotta. If you're gonna be a messenger, you gotta ride without brakes.
It's all gas, no
Safer,
brakes.
You have more control.
Boy,
And I
that's
was like-
anti-disc brake right there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You got better stopping power. That's dangerous.
I personally was a messenger in Seattle, Washington. And,
He's fixie?
No, mountain bike.
Yeah.
Good idea.
Mountain bike with slicks.
Yeah, because that down by the
Provided by the company I worked for. In fact, the one time I got into a wreck, I hit a car because it shot out in front of me and I hit the fender. They were like, okay, are you okay? I'm like, yeah. Is the package okay? They actually asked me that in that order, first of all. And I said, yeah. And they said, okay. They had a full-time mechanic who hopped on a bike, rode to me. I hopped on the bike, and then he just walked the broken bike back to the shop. It was
Quite the
full
setup.
on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it was
pretty
cool.
cool.
It was a good gig.
back in the day.
Yep. Now they don't need it because everything just sent by email. Next off, he's here. Can you hear? Mr. David Weipels.
Oh.
How are you? Get it? He's here. Can you hear?
I don't know if I get it.
It's a quiet
Because
joke.
you
Oh,
like this.
gotcha. Yeah, I get
A
it.
little golf commentator.
I'm working on it, though.
Soft
You
talk.
are. You're getting much better. The mic
Yeah.
is closer to you.
You're the low talker.
I pretty
Yeah.
much have to put it in my mouth, but
Yeah, it was not a good
That's what. I can't do it. How are you, man?
good.
I noticed that we've got this ping pong of Waples.
Yeah.
Is
We
anybody
do.
noticing it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is some serious shit going down that we don't know about
Yeah.
because one week we have one, the
Yeah,
other week
we're
we have
avoiding
the
each
other.
other,
we
yeah.
have one.
Yeah.
It's like it.
Yeah. No, it's probably the only day of the week that I haven't seen him.
Really?
So I don't think it's that he's avoiding me.
Well, maybe that's he did say in the text stream that he needed a night off.
I think it's just that, he's feeling, I don't know what it is, emotional or something, and
Really?
needs some alone time or something. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is
I
he
don't know.
balled up in the shower, rocking back and forth.
Probably. If
Okay.
he's, what time is it? He's usually done with work by like 3. Yeah, he should be home.
And it begins. Fashion trend that drives you most crazy.
Man, I don't even know what's cool right now. I'm in scrubs all the time.
From your youth, or something you saw in cyclists who put their socks over their leg warmers, or anything like that.
I was gonna say the really like fancy tight scrubs people wear nowadays. Like people are spending like $120 on a set of scrubs.
Really?
Yeah, and I'm like, you're supposed
Wearing
to get
jogger scrubs. Have you seen that?
yeah. They're like very
Stupid.
fashionable and like I don't know, just
Jackson's nodding.
Well,
knowingly.
as somebody who lives with someone who has joggers,
Joggers,
they're not
scrubs.
that bad. I think they're kind of,
Oh!
they're way better.
they're super comfortable,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
they're expensive
Yeah.
and like I don't know. I like getting them from the vending machine and then dropping them Mercy covered back into the vending machine. So,
covered.
yeah.
That's so funny.
That's how you get them. They're in a vending.
They
machine?
just come
Yeah.
out in a package. You swipe your card and shoot you out some clean scrubs, and then
Jesus.
I don't know.
I want that.
I
want
don't.
that.
It doesn't bother me that much.
I
though.
want those like the movie vending machines at the grocery store. I want a clothing. It's like jeans and a t-shirt.
Yeah, you just pick out your outfit and then just.
Freaking
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Wow. Okay, so fashionable scrubs is your pain that you don't like. Next, he's the smartest guy in the room because he shot down the offer of a rental house across the street from his parents, Mr. Jackson Bulger.
I did do that. It wasn't only because you guys lived right
Oh,
next
you
to it.
paused. You paused. It was so funny because this woman comes over and starts talking to my wife, and she's working in the front yard, and she's like going, yeah, we're going to, the house is owned by our son. We've spent all this money fixing it up, and now we're going to go move somewhere else, and we want to find some good people to rent. And your mom was like, what do you think? And I'm like, oh, I'll drop Jackson a text. Actually, I called you, right?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, and you were like, hey, man, the house across the street from us is going to be out for rental. Oh.
It was
Thanks.
It was very interesting. I wish a camera could have been in the car when the call was made. No. You think that would be how it is? She didn't know where the house was because, yeah. But the entire time I was thinking, like, I knew where the house was. You said,
Yeah.
oh, it's the one right across,
Yeah.
and
It's not directly across, but it's like two down.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh. And she was like, a house? Like, that's so cool.
Yeah.
And then after the phone hung up, I was like, do you know where that is? Not to say that I don't like you guys.
I know.
But I
No.
also know that what you're saying right now, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I said in the text, we'd only be like vampires, only come over when invited.
But also, it's a wedding season. I don't really want to move.
No,
I heard
don't
from
do
experience.
that. Don't.
Yes.
Yeah. No.
So
you don't want to practice wife.
right,
No.
right. Wedding or not wedding?
Your
wow.
trend, your
It's on
fashion
the brain.
trend.
It's getting close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fashion trend. Does it need to be cycling based?
No.
Oh, okay. Well,
Scrubs aren't.
I guess that's true. Yeah. I do not miss the trend of like super skinny jeans where
yeah.
like on men at least I thought that did not
Kind of where
compliment
Paul
us.
was too, with the ass crack.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff like that.
I think if your legs look a little stickish and you have pants that
Yeah.
show how stickish they are, I think it makes you look a little bit goofy.
Skip leg day, bro. Every day.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll give Sam his intro because he's not here. I said if he's here, he's the leader in tuxedo sizing because
Yeah.
he's the only guy amongst us who's gone out and done that. Me, I am the artist formerly known as Ticker Boy. I am now Sir Sinus, bitch.
Yeah.
Sam was like, you should call yourself Sinus Boy. I'm like, no, I'm Sir Sinus.
Sir Sinus.
Everybody's
It's a knighthood.
I have become the knight of standard heart rate. My fashion trend I don't like. I wrote down both. Cycling and non-cycling, and it's funny that we all mentioned, well, except for David, in some form. Well, actually, we did all mention some form of tight wearing,
That's the
leg
the
oriented
scrubs.
things.
They're all like skinny
Yeah,
scrubs.
I was gonna say mom jeans. I have a problem with mom jeans. I think they're terrible. I thought they were
That's
terrible,
rough.
and I think they're still terrible.
It's a rough call.
Really?
They're not going away.
Oh God, they're freaking
They were
terrible.
around in the 80s, 70s, and 80s.
Yeah,
So
and they
would-
were terrible then.
Yeah.
Well, would you rather have low-rise jeans?
No.
Yeah, what are we
No.
trying to bring back?
Why do
Muffin
we have
top
to
all
go
over again.
extremes? Why do we have to go high or low or high or low? Why can't we just go medium?
Well, it's playing with body structure.
Right
You just
in the
don't
middle.
get it.
My cycling one is I have a problem with non-black shorts. I still to this day have a problem with
That's
cycling
fair.
shorts that are not black. Gentlemen, how are things going in your cycling life? Last week, I guess we can start with Paul because I
It'll
don't
be
think
short.
I have any crickets.
Yeah. I actually got a ride in today.
What?
I
Nice.
saw your Wahoo file that you were holding up on your phone. Yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah, I got one in.
You have
squeezed one out.
a legit excuse. I'm not busting your
Yeah.
balls. You finished moving.
Yeah. Well, kind of.
And then
We're
you were
still
telling me before
putting
we went
stuff
on air.
away.
You're telling me before we went on air about all the little, this doesn't work and that
yeah,
doesn't
we
work.
got to
and
do this. And just
assholes
that,
took a
and,
shit
yeah,
before they moved out.
Yeah.
And, it didn't flush.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I would do.
Ew.
Just remember whose house this was.
Yeah.
I gave you an upper decker.
Well, it's been a long time. That thing's white.
Ew. Soaked up all the toilet water.
That's right. Like a sponge. I'm not grabbing it though.
What did you eat?
No, I got out. Well, the routine now, if on our days off, so we wake up, we eat breakfast, have coffee, and then take Flanders, our dog, down to Riverfront Park, which is about 3 blocks away from our place now.
Yeah.
So we just go down by the Spokane River, and it's great. The weather's nice and everything, and he's just like in heaven. He's just loving it. So. Anyway, so we get this walks in, and in fact today in this walk, I'm coming back in Spokane, Riverfront Park has this giant red wagon, and we're cutting across the lawn. This guy
Pride
goes,
of our city.
Pack filler. This older guy, I love that that podcast. I go, really? And I said,
What?
Introduced myself, and he says, yeah, listen, you guys crack me up. And he goes, I don't listen to all the episodes. And I said, well, there's 300 and almost 400 episodes, so you got to catch up, buddy.
Get your shit done.
So
you won't get all the inside jokes.
Yeah. But anyway, it was good to hear that, just walking. Because I was wearing the freak flag. It says Pack Filler.
Yeah, right on. Yeah. Very cool.
So, and so then I came home and I did a bunch of more stuff, hang some pictures, worked on the furnace a little bit, the fun things. And then Renee goes, just go for a ride. So I said, all right, I'll just go out for about an hour. And yes, I needed it. Yeah. And I'm thinking this is going to feel like shit. And about, probably a good 20 minutes into it, I'm like, holy crap. I felt like I was in heaven. And I didn't feel like I hadn't been riding for a while, but I'm riding by myself. So when everybody goes blowing by me, the next one, I can stay with. Nope, I can't stay with them.
Yeah.
But anyway,
David, have you been writing? It's work's been kicking you in the nuts. It sounds like.
Yeah, the last 2 weeks were just it's like 70-hour weeks, but I still managed to make it out to the Wednesday night mountain bike race, and then the Thursday night throwdown / race on both weeks.
Jeez.
And then one ride on the weekend. And last weekend at the Wednesday night, I was like 4th place, 20 seconds from the front. So that felt
2-lapper?
2-lapper, yep.
Dude.
Mm-hmm. So I felt like I was doing pretty good there. I think it's the whole I'm only doing the 2 races and then a hard weekend ride and then just more recovery than I've ever done. So
yeah,
it's actually going fairly well.
It's working.
Yeah.
And I noticed the face is cleared up, but the stash is full prominence, and you've got the tousled look on top. It's good look, man.
Very Euro, I'm hoping. And also my wife's never seen my upper lip.
She has not?
Never.
Ever?
Mm-mm. I have never had an exposed upper lip since before medical school. So
wow.
It's either beard or mustache. So at this point, I don't know if she'd go for it.
Wow. That's crazy.
You guys may never see it either.
Okay. Wow. I do have to pull it back around to me again because I want to say that about going on 4 weeks ago, I shaved my mustache down to just stubble. Nobody said anything. My wife didn't say shit. She didn't notice. At one point, my parents are sitting across the dinner table, and I said, I'm going to ruin the evening here. My wife doesn't look me in the face anymore because none of you assholes have even noticed.
Well, it's a dark section. Even your stubble's always dark. Yeah. So I thought you were just trying to keep it.
No, I'm slowly cleaning it up. I'm slowly, but I work in a high school and I'm ready for everybody to go oh my God, you look terrible.
Cover that face with hair.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and so I'm doing it slowly, and nobody noticed. So I just want to, I guess.
Sam was.
Everybody's looking at my breasts.
The one who wasn't here and then was, so he really should have noticed. So if it was anybody, it was him.
Yeah,
he never did.
Him.
He never did.
Yep.
Yeah, never did.
Yeah.
None of you guys did. Jackson, how's your writing?
Good. Yeah. Last week.
All right.
Well, no.
No.
Last week was a good week. I wrote on Wednesday. Then I did our throwdown on Thursday.
Yeah.
Which was fun. I love doing those. David was a little kind to himself. He was in a breakaway for a majority of that night, so that was fun. And it was just kind of fun,
That was a great one.
It was. It was a lot of fun playing team tactics, being the party pooper, doing all that stuff. So, yeah.
Your inner asshole came out a little bit. But your inner asshole's such a nice person. I mean, he's
Yeah.
like an asshole. It's just these little guy. He's like a little perky, Brazilian waxed, clean.
Right. I appreciate that. Yeah. Well,
Bleached.
but like,
Jackson's a bleached asshole.
Yeah.
fair enough. I'm clean. But that was fun.
Which part? The insult, the asshole comments, or the ride?
Well, the ride.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. And then we rode on Saturday.
We
which
did.
was really good.
Yeah.
So big training week, and then on these weeks, race weeks, I usually wait until if I ride, it'll be the day before, or just wait till race day. So deciding on that, but a little bit easier this week.
I'll be quick. I did 2 to 3 rides on the trainer again. Don't at me because I have a reason. Like I said, I don't want somebody to come, have my wife to have to constantly go, I got to go pick up my husband again. He's dying on the side of the road. And so I did those just to kind of test things and did some intervals on the trainer, and then got out on Saturday with you guys. And I know you guys weren't going super hard. We never had any moments where I was like, oh, fuck, I can barely hold on. But we did climb a regional climb called Charles, which, how would you describe it, Paul? How long?
I think it's
percentage?
almost 2 kilometers, I think. And there's 12% gradient involved in
It's
their
evil.
sections. Yeah. So,
And every time I've done it over the last 5 years, the wind has been going just
Down.
about the speed.
oh, yeah.
Just about the speed you're traveling. And if
Yep.
it's in the 80s Fahrenheit, that is just your
in the
head
oven.
is a microwave. It was so hot. And it was kind of a, not to dwell too much on the ticker thing, but it was so interesting to be riding at that point, because we got to the base of the climb and I'm like, okay, don't try to hold on to him, because dude, you can't climb. And and second of all, just chill, just hold tempo, just hold pace. And with the stillness of the fact that you're going as fast as the wind and just the heat, all I could hear was my breathing and my heart rate. And I was just listening to my heart going, don't you do anything. Don't you even think about it. You
fucking do it.
I'll punch you right in
on,
the
yeah,
aorta.
I will kick your ass. I was come on. And it was just, and I'm just going, hold on,
Sounds
man.
pretty
hold
regular.
on, hold on.
Yeah.
And I got to the top, and I didn't do anything majestic or fast, like I would. But it was good, and it was really nice to get out there and do that. We did. I ended up with about 50 miles, and felt like better. So every time, if I happen to go into AFib, the recovery is getting shorter, and so that's what's cool. So hopefully we'll get there.
Hey, that's a good long. I mean, I think what was your time up there?
It was
You guys
Not
almost
long.
nailed the.
we top 10
He
days.
topped, yeah.
Yeah.
Sam got 8th, I got 9th. I
Nice.
think it was, I want to say, like, it can't be 2 minutes.
No, it's
No,
like
2K.
10 or 12.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know what the time was, but it wasn't very long.
Yeah.
For sure.
I was.
It's at least, well, if it was like 10 minutes. So you had a 20-minute workout.
Yeah, I was 4 minutes behind them.
Oh, only 4. Okay.
4 minutes
I'm sorry, that
behind
was
them.
wrong. But that's a good stress. I mean,
I'm sitting in here in the studio after the ride. I'm like going, hey, I actually PR'd that climb. 4 minutes.
22:18 was
yeah,
my
so
time.
22. Yeah, that gives you an idea.
Yeah.
That's
How
a
tough that
that's
is.
a 20-minute climb.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
It's like a 2-minute descent, isn't
I
it?
don't know.
Oh yeah. I've been
think
to
I'm
try
on
it
the
on a
top 10
tandem
anymore.
someday. My wife,
look.
I took my wife down and on a tandem once, and I was
I'm
so
out
glad
of
that
voice
she had no computer, because I was looking at the computer, and on a tandem we went over 60 miles an hour. We got to the bottom. She's like, "Wow, that was really fast. How fast did we go?" Actually, on the way down, she's like, "How fast are we going?" I'm
Oh
like,
my god!
40.
Is it like feel safer because of the long wheelbase? Like I've never felt good at 50.
If
so.
you are in sync with each other, yes. And if the stoker trusts the captain, yes. But if not, I mean, if she were to tense up, it's just you can't steer the bike.
right,
you know, but she trusted me. And sucked her.
I've hit 62 on that.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, it's a fast descent. It's really fast. And like I was saying, when we climbed it, it used to be gravel in the early days of racing.
Yep.
And if you got out of the saddle, you'd spin out because we rode 42-21.
Yeah.
You pansy asses. I'd like to take a short trip, if you will, down WTF Lane. Our weeknight road scene is around 50 to 60 riders. 50 to 60. I'm noticing that weekend races are struggling even harder. I'm hearing every single race promoter who's putting on a road event saying, hey, we need some people to sign up or we're going to cancel the race. This has happened even before COVID. Am I correct in assuming this? Why aren't people road racing? Our weekend mountain bike race, our weeknight mountain bike race is over 300 people.
300 plus people, yeah.
Our 24-hour numbers are up. By the way, I do need to mention that's happening this week, and you can still sign up. 24 hours of Riverside.com, 24 hours of Riverside.com. Those numbers are up. What's wrong with road racing? Is road cycling inaccessible? Is it the learning curve? Do you foresee any growth or continued decline? What's going on? Does anybody have a theory?
I think it's that it's not as welcoming. I mean, you look at there's 300 people out there at the Wednesday night mountain bike race, but like 10 to 20 are racing. You know, like racing each other for like the fastest 2-lap time. Everybody else is like out there doing it against themselves. They're racing themselves. They're just out there for a good time. There's beer afterwards. So it's more inclusive, you know, thinking about the raceway, which I think we've had pretty decent turnout since the raceway started back up this year. But you get dropped and like, it's really not that fun anymore.
Yeah.
So I think,
but don't get dropped then.
Well, I agree, but
Simple.
I think it's you're not seeing as big of numbers because you don't have that many people that are fast enough to stay in a large race at the raceway.
There's a pack, a B pack, and a C pack.
That's true. I can't speak for the B. Like I don't know why they don't show up to that. It's a good point.
I don't know what's the size of the B. I know that on the average we've had 25 in the A's.
Yeah,
the B's pretty close to that.
I don't know, honestly. I think that our B's are, I would say, pretty close. Maybe a little bit less. I've been noticing some of the B's moving up to the A's with us.
Yeah.
So.
For the people who are not sure of what the categorization is, they do this for simplicity on a weeknight race. So the A pack you would consider to be like Cat 1, 2s, 3s. B pack, Force 5s, older masters. Hi, Paul. But he's an A though. That's what makes you such a god, and me not that far behind you, in age. But and then the C pack is it goes before everything. It is newbies. It is people who are just kind of getting the comfort feel of it. And I'm not insulting the C pack. So if you're in the C pack and all of a sudden you hear about this and you're like going, "Hey, asshole." If you see me, I'll be in my kit and I'll be an asshole mode and I'll tell you to fuck off. But
and your mom is a whore.
And your mom's a whore. But so we got those categories. So sorry, it took me a while to explain that. Did you remember your train of thought?
No, I kind of finished what I was going to say.
Okay.
But
great. Sorry.
But again, like we all do that race and go home. There's no community afterwards. Like we show up and like I think I see you guys there and we catch up and I see a few other people. But like the Wednesday night race, the 24-hour race, that is like a weekend or a whole event where there's food, there's beer, there's hanging out. And I think that's what people want. This race down in Oregon, I don't know what it was called. It was some gravel thing last weekend. People pay like $500 for this.
Yeah.
And it's just a spirited together ride with food and beer, and like it's an event.
Can road wrap itself around without? I mean, I guess I know that everybody here in this room understands the importance of fondos.
Yeah.
But do we want that to be where our sport heads? No.
But think about the big crit weekends where you have vendors and like people set up on tents and it goes around a park. Those are the big races where you get huge turnouts. And again, it's an event that people want to go hang out at.
do you get huge turnouts of riders, or do you get huge turnouts of spectators who are sitting around drinking beer?
Well, I think you get more riders and a lot of spectators, and I think people enjoy having spectators and just the whole event.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so, I think it depends on it. There's some promoters have found a niche.
Yeah.
Oh, you're empty because I'm going to say something. You're going to have to take a drink.
Okay.
So Ace at Turd of Bloom, drink. He just posted on Facebook that the Pro 1-2s and the women, he's looking to add a fifth stage. They had 80-some starters in the Pro 1-2s.
It's pretty good.
Wow.
Yeah, and if you look at any of their footage on YouTube, if you go Turd of Bloom stuff, it is the people on the side of the road, for the crit. I mean, people are showing up, and then you have a pack of 80 and a small crit. I mean, so I don't think it's dead by means, but I think it's like our local one that we're going to be having here. It's a heck of a drive. Spokane is fairly small. I mean, we're over 500,000 in the metropolitan area.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's not like Seattle, a couple of million. So, there's that. But some of the people, I'm not going to go across the state anymore to do a one-day race. I just can't do that. So
I think roadies also have a bit of an ego. I know I have one.
Right? Excuse me?
Yeah. So, I think sometimes after a race, there might be a little bit of, animosity between riders sometimes, and I wonder if that could also kind of come into play on how much each individual would want to speak to one another. I mean, because I know that, sometimes, in a specific race, I know that I could have just ridden a way that a rider maybe didn't like, and they don't want to talk to me. You know?
Don't think that happens in mountain bike races?
I think it happens less.
Really?
Yeah, just because I
disagree.
Think, well, I say that it happens less because I think that there is less rider to rider contact, not physical contact, but just contact with one another, because we're all racing in a pack. We're all using we're all using each other for our own advantage in pack riding.
Yeah.
And in mountain biking, you don't really pack ride as much.
Yeah.
And so I think that might have a little bit to do with that. You can mess each other up.
That's a good point.
Yeah, you can screw with each other while you're trying to make an attack.
I'm sure I would agree with some of that. I think on the local scene at least, but like our training series, that's not a place you want to hang out at the end of the day.
Because of the venue. Because of the
itself.
location.
Yeah. I mean, I would say, if we could close down a section of downtown, people would stick around. They really would, to be honest with you. So that's, and when you're out in the woods in the mountain bike, you're kind of like camping. It has that atmosphere.
Yeah.
So I think that has a big, same with cyclocross, same thing. It's just a laid back, but when you're in an empty track and, designed for cars going around, it's just like, why would we hang around there?
And it's interesting because I'm just thinking of all these parallels. Mountain biking is out of the way. So road cycling is now officially out of the way. There's only places we can race anymore. It's industrial parks, it's auto tracks, it's things like that. Or very far rural areas where we can start and finish a road race. Yet people want to hang out in the out of the way places of mountain bike races, but they don't want to hang out in out of the way places of road races. We've so what we're saying is we're all finding these problems that road cycling has, but we don't know how it can be fixed. And this is what personally in this country kind of worries me, because sure, we've got these massive crits, these massive downtown crits in these larger metropolitan areas. We've got California, who has a huge crit series things going on, but the rest of the country it's not happening. and it's dwindling. Now, do you guys think we're experiencing a pendulum swing where very similar that has happened? I mean, I remember when Lamond won his first tour, road cycling kicked off. I remember when Voldemort won his first tour, road cycling kicked off. And things like that. Oh, I'm going to talk about that asshole a little bit later. But I can't say his name specifically because I said asshole, and he'll probably sue me. But but where do we? Is the pendulum going to swing back? Do we think that road cycling is going to make a comeback, or is this going to be a slow fizzle out? And should I have started a podcast about golf?
You know, I am seeing some sort of a pendulum swing. I think that people are really interested to get out and road race a little bit more, at least from what I've seen over the past, I would say this year in particular. People are really keen to make stuff happen, which is really, really encouraging. I mean, in the past, mind you, the past 3 years has been kind of difficult, but ever since I've gotten into cycling, this series of road races hasn't been around. Yeah. And that's been coming up on 6 years now.
Yeah.
And so it's really good to see all this stuff coming up. Our Thursday night rides were getting pretty good numbers and stuff like that. So it is really good. And I think people just want to ride bikes. I mean, I'm seeing some of our local mountain bike high schoolers showing up to our Thursday night fast rides. And so that's
what would you
really
guys say
cool.
is the average number on those rides?
The
On the Thursdays.
The TNT ride, not the
you guys.
Spirit ride. I think it's been like 15, right? Roughly. Maybe
20?
20?
15, 20. I think that's pretty respectable, I think.
Yeah. It's a good group ride. Yeah. And that's not forgivable. I mean, that is not what I mean forgivable. It's not forgiving. It is you get dropped. See you later.
Yeah.
But it's a short circuit, right? And the cool thing is it's usually people, at least they used to just wait at the top of the hill so everybody comes up, no matter how long people chit-chat. I mean, to be honest with you, that's where that community really, I mean, there's more of that mountain bike cyclocross we were talking about afterwards, but we're in the middle of the road, so we got to move. Yeah. But, still, everybody waits as opposed to,
Yeah, and that's what I think is so cool is that we are, with these rides, it creates some sort of a community that, we're all in this together, and everybody afterwards rides up the South Hill because for some weird reason we all live on the South Hill.
We're snobs.
Yeah. But
you could live anymore. He doesn't anymore.
Well, he'll just finish his ride immediately.
You could live even more on the South Hill.
Yeah. I could. You're not stealing You're not stealing my milk though.
Yeah.
I intentionally said that
joke. Waple's joke.
Man.
But I do think it creates, like, when we're riding up the South Hill, we're talking about, this was a hard moment, or I almost got dropped here, and that's a fun thing that we all get to experience together.
Yep.
And it's the Twilight series that I've done, the one, and then the second one where I went out with my camera. We went out to dinner afterwards, and I like that post ride, go someplace. It's kind of funny that here with our local series, it is out on this auto race track, and we're very close to a very large resort area that we should I wish there was a way to kind of talk to those guys and say, hey, can we all. But there's no outdoor kind of. But I don't know. It'd be
and then the other thing is, it's from most people's houses. It's probably about 8-10 miles away.
Yeah,
because we all live on the South Hill.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you're going to feel good about, I mean, to me, that's the other benefit of the TNT. We used to finish at Benedito's, right? And have a beer, and then you don't have to feel bad about hopping in your car after you had 1 or 2 beers.
That's true. That's true. Yeah,
it's,
we would
it's
ride
a little bit
home,
better, still illegal, but at least you're not gonna,
When I first started, we used to go to like the Elk or a brewery after every Thursday night race or whatever. I think it was Tuesdays back then. Yeah. And I think that's same thing. It's just like you have the community that comes together afterwards, and that's what we need to get people to show up.
Perry Street Brewing has a wonderful deck. Just saying, just throwing that out there. Speaking of which, let's jump into tonight's topic brought to us by our friends at Perry Street Brewing. Neighborhood brewing at its finest in the heart of Spokane's Perry District. Brilliant beer, food, and atmosphere, and they don't have that ramen thing anymore.
Ramen Rito?
I haven't seen it.
Bring it back.
All right. Official beer, the pack filler. Okay. Here's how we're going to go into this. Who saw today's Giro stage? Paul, yes. Jackson, you probably
Caught the-
highlighted.
Caught them all. Yep. Caught
David
the
hasn't
highlights.
watched shit. David doesn't even pay attention to bike racing. Who would have predicted of the three of us, Geraint Thomas would have attacked Primož Roglic and left him behind? Who would have honestly predicted that?
None of us.
Crickets. No effing way. Thoughts on Geraint making it? Yeah, look at your sheet. Did you even filled it out, and then you filled it out late, and then you were like, "Oh, who's winning?"
Well, I didn't
I'm
see
gonna circle
Sagan.
their
Let's
name.
say Peter wasn't on this
find
list.
Sagan's name, so
Thoughts on Geraint making it to Sunday?
It's seeming pretty damn possible at this point. It's crazy because we were all eyes on Teo, and then cracked. What?
you said semen.
Oh, I was like,
I didn't even notice.
he just whispered semen in my ear, and I'm like,
You said semen.
Sophomoric little bastard.
I'm sorry.
But
As you were.
I thought, I mean, this has been a classic Giro. It's just everything has hit the fan, and the one, like the strongest man in the end, has won. And did I say that at the beginning? That not the best rider, but
Seaman?
the
I didn't hear it.
No, apparently I did.
I didn't hear it.
But I'm pretty sure in our original Giro preview that I said the strongest individual will win, not the best rider will win. And I think we're seeing the strongest individual win, not the strongest rider. I will say, Quick Step, wow.
They got two people
I
left.
feel so bad for them.
Patrick Lefebvre didn't obviously, slay a goat and dance around a fire
No.
or something like that because shit is not going.
Apparently, he's
well.
passing his time looking at porn on Twitter.
What?
You gotta go on the Escape Collective. They had a little short story on it.
Oh, really?
When you like something
Yeah.
on Twitter, everybody sees if you follow me what they liked, and apparently there's some porn on there that he's giving thumbs up.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right.
So
Mr.
Escape
Lefebvre.
Collective,
Yeah.
CC.
Yeah. I hear that the internet has some of that pornographic
Yeah,
material. I didn't know. I'm very new
It's
to all this.
semen more popular these days.
That was good.
Oh Jesus! I think I actually have that. No, do I? No, I don't know. I gotta
no rim shot.
I gotta get my sound effects in front of me so I can see more of it, or I just need to.
Did you really just say rim shot?
Oh, there we go.
better rim
We're-
job?
We got a theme tonight.
Is this a race of whoever's left?
Feels like
Are we looking at this? I mean, is this like, oh well, Geraint's winning because nobody else is there?
No.
I said it, but I don't necessarily mean it, so don't take me seriously. It's like I love you back in high school. I said it, but I don't mean it.
No, I think to be honest with you, I think people forget that the Grand Tours are more of it. There's an attrition side of a thing.
Yeah.
There is tactics. It is all you have to say. You have to have good equipment. Equipment has to be reliable. You have to be able to use strategy with the people that fall off. I mean,
Sure.
people disappear. So, the one who wins is the deserving winner, just like Jackson was saying about the strongest guy. Because everybody has a bad day.
Yeah.
At least one, and it's just a matter of surviving. And that could have been
It's-
Roglič's day today.
Yeah.
The way he was riding, he just was not there.
And last week he was like a rabbit off the front. He was just boom, 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 boom. And then this week is like, uh-oh.
But this is the first day after a rest day, and different riders respond differently
Yeah.
after a rest
And
day.
the weather's been just horrendous.
Well, I think this Grand Tour and our last Vuelta has really begged the question of Roglic. Is he a reliable leader anymore? To me, it's coming down to the answer of no. He crashes every time. He gets dropped, or he just can't. It's really just those two, and so it's kind of. I think. I mean, we're seeing it with Sepp Kuss too. Could he be used in a different setting now? Could he
Yeah.
be used for Vingegaard instead of Roglic anymore? Because Roglic seems like he kind of falls by the wayside every time he's put under pressure.
There's so many riders who get thrust
Oh, there we go.
You gonna laugh at that one?
He said thrust.
There's so many riders who get thrust into this 3-week Grand Tour position, but they honestly I could be so incredibly good at 1 weeks at these small, at these not so glorious, I guess, events. And is Primož Roglič, is he a really good 1 week stage racer? Paris-Nice, Tirreno Adriatico, those types of events. And
remember, he's won 3 Vueltas.
He has won
in
3
a row.
Vueltas
In a row.
Yeah. So,
And no one's ever won 4.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this might be the year he's going to hop down and he'll set a record. So he does have that capability. He has rotten luck. And I think he's a little bit, I think he's a little squirrely on the bike a little bit after a few crashes.
Yeah.
I never noticed it, but
It's like
after
a Nordic jump. Everyone he's Nordic jumper, so he's like when he lands, it's like whoa, 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 whoa.
Yeah.
I do want to say that somebody in this room picked Primož João Almeida for his overall winners, and he picked Remco. Damn it!
Yeah.
Why didn't I pick Garrett? So I'm, I guess I'm doing okay. João Almeida rode incredibly well today.
Yeah. I was really shocked to see him do that because typically in the past when we've seen him ride a 3-week, he's kind of reached that pinnacle moment, and then right when everybody goes away, he's one of the few that stays back. And I'm really happy to see a young guy like him go forward. And I would really love to see him after this Giro go on to a tour and work with Roglič. We've never seen them in a race before.
Yeah.
And I think that'd be really entertaining.
So
not a Roglič, excuse me, Pikachu.
Yeah. So I'm trying to move on, keeping the show going here, and I've decided that I'm not going to do the mid-roll breaks anymore because you guys don't want to. I don't want to listen to commercials in the middle of my podcast, so I'm not going to make you guys listen to commercials in the middle of your podcast. There we go. I'm going to lose money for you.
Wow.
Yeah. Last night and so our topic. This is kind of where we go with this, talking about the Giro and moving into last night on the rest day. I was able to take a moment and watch this recent GCN documentary, Giro '88, and I had to admit, I had a whiskey in me. And so I was like, I got on my phone. I'm like, you guys need to watch this. That's awesome.
Drunk texting.
Yeah, it was a little bit. It was a little bit. Yeah, I'm sorry about the dick pics.
It wasn't supposed to go to you guys. Yeah.
I'm like, looking at my wife. Did you get that? She's going, nope. I'm like, oh,
Damn it. Did it again.
yeah, APB.
Another
Guess I'm not going to run for political office.
Another mom joke. Yeah. You are. You're right.
He's on him.
Yeah.
Riding the childish gravy train tonight.
Yep.
It's on GCN on the '88 Giro, and I know Paul's seen it. And but Paul, so give us if I'm throwing you under the bus here, a little recap. Like if you had to do like a 30-second, 1 minute recap on that '88 Giro and that particular stage, how would you have described it for the people who haven't seen it yet?
It is probably one of the most iconic stages probably in Grand Tour history. An American team, the only American ever to win the Giro. And he was a super domestique for Greg LeMond, the American hero. And he switched to 7-Eleven, which was, no one had Andy Hampsten as a pick. And this stage, I think it was Maximo, their team doctor or something, knew that area really well. And just went to a ski shop and bought all this stuff because they were prepared. Nobody was prepared for the snow on top. The director of the race of the Giro told everybody it's fine up there. There's no snow, but people actually you need to watch that show. You can see it.
Yeah.
And that Andy Hampsten didn't win the stage on that, but he went into the pink and was able to keep it to the finish. But it was all on that, and there was some great preparation on their side. But they were some very cold people.
Horrible snow.
Yeah.
Massive hypothermia. Issues where riders are coming across the line, and it looks like they're jumping up and down for joy in a hug. But what they're doing is they're just trying to
circulation
get their bodies back warm.
It's amazing.
It was one of the most iconic races, as you said, Paul, that I've ever seen in my life. And I remember, I think my dad said it best when we talked about it, because we had to wait for the magazines to come to us, and Dad said, funny. And I said, what? He said, that a guy from Colorado would do well in the snow. It was like, oh, you're
He's
right.
originally from North Carolina. North Dakota.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Even worse.
He used to, at the
my
OTC have, not that I saw it, but
Yeah.
I had a friend that was at the OTC when he was there, and they had North Dakota state tree, and it was a telephone pole.
That's funny.
That's pretty good.
Would and I'm sorry to seclude the guys, push out the guys who weren't alive in '88, but would Andy have won if it weren't for that stage? Do you think, Paul?
No, I don't think
he wouldn't
so.
have won the race.
He's a fantastic climber, and he put up a good fight in a lot of other Grand Tours. He won Tour of Switzerland twice.
Yeah.
And great fashion. But speaking of a rider who just couldn't keep it together in 3 weeks, it's just one bad day, but his bad days were bad days.
Yeah.
So
he had some pretty good tours, especially in the La Viclaire year. I remember that he had.
He
had
was
some good rides.
fantastic.
Won Alpe
d'Huez,
yeah,
and that was great with Motorola.
Yeah.
I think 92.
Who's to blame for that stage not being canceled? And that's where we're going to kind of drift to here. Snowdrift. That's not a sex joke, David.
well.
Just keep it out.
I wasn't even going
You
there.
could have made it. You could have made it a sex joke. Quick, make drift a sex joke.
I think
Sorry,
that's,
the game.
I
That's
think
a
that's
hard
a
one.
big ask. Yeah.
Yeah, drift into my DMs.
Pushing it on that one. Real pushing it.
Tokyo drift on over here. So anyway, would that have who's to blame for that stage not being canceled? Is that organizers?
Yeah, that was the director everybody blamed. And
Mother Nature.
yeah, Mother Nature. But I think there's a couple of them. Now there's a bad weather protocol that, even heat. There's like certain temperatures and flooding. There's in 87 Tour de France, there was a stage that the water was 1 foot deep. There was flooding in this one going through a town. You can find footage of it. It's just like almost axle deep of water.
They rode through it?
Yeah, they rode through it.
Okay, so that's where I want to... so our initial observations of bike racing in the 80s. The bikes were heavier, predominantly steel. The gears. I made a joke at the beginning of this, on the onset of the show. You rode a 42, maybe 23, up these massive mountains. The clothing technology. I think there's a comment in that documentary about the fact that rain capes were just plastic. You were just basically putting on a layer of plastic.
PVC.
Yeah.
Flexible PVC.
And, Andy mentioned the fact that he had a pair of neoprene gloves that he was so thankful for. And and jersey technology, clothing technology was so far behind. So they continued on. And in current days, we don't. So I'm, to quote a book I read once, are we talking about the pussification of society? Are people becoming? Are these guys too soft, or is this good decision making in terms of bike racing? And should riders are the riders being treated with greater respect, or are they still being treated like absolute shit?
Well, do you think the riders would not do it if there wasn't somebody looking out for them? Like, I feel like if that happened to me in a race, I would just keep going. Like, I bet they would do it. It's
really?
Just that there's people that are like, no, this isn't safe. We're worried about people dying or whatever,
Well, there's in the past they've had riders protest and sit down and won't start the race because of the course, and that's how race days came around. That's when Bernardino said this is ridiculous. They were running
2 stages in a day.
Yeah, they
were
had
doing
like
that for a while.
double stages in the morning and the afternoon, and they were stacking it, and they just said, no, we're not going to race. So,
seems soft.
But I think cycling has evolved, and there's a great the narrator, the guy who wrote the book on this whole story and everything on Giro 88. He said today's racing, Grand Tours are about speed. Back then, it wasn't really speed. It was the whole involvement of getting up the hill and when they went down hills, they would go fast, but they're not doing what they're doing now, and that's why I think we have an enormous amount of crashes that are heinous. I mean, these guys used to race without helmets, and come down the same places that they're doing now, and now these guys are messed up because our equipment is faster, and it is all about speed, how fast you can go down the mountain, how fast you go up the mountain, and how fast your sprint is. So,
yeah. I mean, I don't know if I necessarily think that it's the pussification of society. I think that it is, maybe we look at what are the long-term effects of riding in hypothermic conditions. I mean, I know that one of the four of us in the room gets blue hands when it drops below a certain temperature.
Because I rode a lot in the cold weather.
Yeah. So I think that there is a little bit of like what happens long terms in the effects of riding in adverse conditions. But I also do agree that I think that a lot of these riders realize that this is their livelihood. And so they're going to put their bodies through a lot to earn that paycheck, for lack of a better term, or that accolade.
Also, isn't it like, would it be as good of a race if you knew ahead of time that the snow on the mountain was gonna be such a barrier? Like, doesn't it make it such a good race, the fact that nobody knew what they were in for?
It does now, but it also, you have to take into account that the fact that they were bombing down that mountain in the snow,
and it was colder on the descent.
Yeah.
And not because the wind was coming from the north and descended on the north side. So.
I mean, there's the extreme weather element, but there's also the rider safety element, and that's where that whole thing. You're just watching that documentary, going, "Are you kidding me? How did they pull that off?"
And the other thing too, that those guys barely got paid compared to what they get paid now. Yeah. So I think the investment that these teams have on their riders is also part of the bearing of like, listen, I'm not going to, this guy's worth $5 million, I'm not going to have him on one stage, no, we need to come up with an idea that I get my money's worth. So
talk to me about your personal rules for cold or extreme weather. I think a little birdie told me the other day that there's a good chance that the weather is going to be more extreme for probably the rest of our lives.
That's weird.
We're gonna.
I haven't seen it yet.
It was
I would have shot that bird.
It was kind of a Snow White. It was a Snow White moment. Just came up to me on the shoulder, and I looked at her and I said, "What's that, little one?"
Honey, get the shotgun.
You went, oh no shit.
Yeah.
Oh shit. So you're telling me, I'm going to use one of my words. You're telling me we're fucked. Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Birdie. So I know, for example, a certain person who's not here right now.
Such a wimp.
Speaking of pussification, he's like, it's below 60. I'm not riding.
62.
62? No shit. Really?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's his limit.
62 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Whiner.
God.
It's always been like that.
Do you have to chew his food up for him and spit it into his mouth?
When it gets that cold, yeah.
Yeah.
Down near 62.
What are your guys' rules in terms of the extremes? Like, for example, I know some people who are like, it's going to be 100 degrees Fahrenheit today. There's no effing way I'm riding during the middle of the day, or I'm going to ride it all this day. And then there's the cold. If it drops below 62, I'm not going to ride. Or if it's raining, at what point do we embrace the Velominati rule that if you're riding in bad weather, you're a badass?
That's 9. Rule 9.
Rule 9. Okay, nice. Does anybody have personal rules you stick to?
Yeah, I've got some. I think that I just don't ride in the rain. It's not worth it. I don't want to be miserable, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. In the cold, if it's in the 20s, even in the 30s, 30s is pushing it for me. 40s, I'll be okay with it. But anything in the 30s, I think, is a little bit much for me. It's just not fun.
Yeah.
I do this for fitness and competition, but also fun. And if it's not fun because it's so cold, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
And then for the heat, I always have been told, like, oh, don't ride if it's 100 degrees. Obviously, that's probably not the best idea. It's a little bit harder to exert yourself fully. But for me, the heat, I can handle way more than I can the cold. I think that if it's 100 degrees at some point, I could go. And I wouldn't be as bothered if it was 29 degrees, you know?
Yeah.
So I think those are really my rules. Rain, never. I hate the
Never rain.
I hate the rain. As somebody who lives in Portland, that's kind of funny, but it's just like, I don't want to end a ride and be the same wetness I am as I get in the shower. That sounds the worst.
Yeah.
Like the worst.
Well, and then there's also the warm rain versus cold rain. I mean, because, you know,
Well,
there's the summer rains.
Yeah,
it's like,
way different.
you know, you just want to dance around. It's like a shampoo commercial.
Yeah. And there's also a possibility of drying afterwards. While in like early April, late March, it's like you're going to stay cold the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Paul, you got a rule? Or are you just full Belgian on this?
I in my 20s when I got started, there wasn't any weather that would stop me. I rode my road bike all year round. Snow, ice, whatever. And I went down a couple of times, but
Yeah.
bumbles bounce. But now this bumble doesn't bounce anymore.
Yeah.
So ice is when there's ice on the road, I have to back off.
Yeah.
I don't really enjoy 30 degree weather, or just now at my age, it's below freezing. I will not go. I can take extreme without, heat.
Heat,
And
you're fine?
I'm fine. I've ridden in 105 degree heat,
Yeah.
and I was fine. I just keep drinking and drinking and drinking, and
Yeah.
you're fine.
And racing is different, too, though, because if you signed
Well,
up
I
for
trained
an
in
event or
that,
something.
too.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Dad, You're from Slowland, so, I mean, you rode in heat, obviously.
Well, it doesn't get that hot there. I mean, it's right on the ocean, so
Huh?
I never had an issue with rain down there because it wasn't. It was that warmer rain. I don't like to start a ride in the rain, but I will as long as it doesn't look like maybe there's a chance of it drying out. And I'll start a ride if it's gonna rain, if it's dry. But for me, it's usually like 45. I've gotten a lot better winter gear now, so I don't actually like to go out below 45 on a road bike. If it's below 45, I'll go on like a mountain bike ride or a cross bike, down to like 30 something. But I don't need to be cold outside. It's so much work to put all your gear on. I could just get a good workout in on a trainer.
Yeah.
It's like I don't have enough time as it is. I don't need to put an extra 30 minutes into getting dressed and undressed.
And where's my left shoe cover?
Where's my left shoe cover? It was right here.
And then
Last November.
stuff that
Yeah.
we put on the legs. Was that
And bro.
the spicy cream?
Yeah. Spicy cream?
Yeah.
That's such a funny way to
Does
describe
it just get warm when you blow on it?
Yeah.
Okay.
When you blow on it.
Whoa!
All right. Here we go. We've gone down that road.
Oh my God! Tonight's rated R. I'm kind of in that same boat though, because I've become a point where trainer technology's become so advanced, so
Yeah.
you can just walk into a nice warm room and ride, and it's a piece of cake.
Yeah.
And,
Nice.
It's quick.
but yeah, but I won't do that in extreme heat, obviously, because I live in Spokane, Washington, and I don't have an air-conditioned house. So if it's too hot, I just go out and ride. I'm not going to lie. I go out in the heat, and I'll just go out and ride.
Yeah.
But I won't go too long, or I'll
Just go
try to find a
early.
ride along the river where it's in the shade or something like that. I don't like going early.
Well,
because I like sleeping.
Okay,
I
fair
really, 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 really like sleeping.
Well, you and I saw 114 one time, and we finished that. So.
Belgian waffle. Yeah, that was yeah. And they brought water for the ride that usually happened in May, and we were there in July, and it was a little toasty.
Well, I have something to say. I think, and I still probably abide by this too, when you are fighting the elements and stuff, there's a mental toughness that you develop, as opposed to, I remember riding with a friend of mine, Andre, and we were out towards Cheney. It's a flatter area, and snow came in out of nowhere, and it was blowing sideways. We had to stay apart because it was tossing us.
Yeah.
And the thing is he goes, this is the stuff that pays dividends in your head, mental toughness in the, when you're racing. And I said, you're right. It is. It's huge. And
it's such a macho thing to say,
goes,
but it's...
How many of the guys that race in this area are out riding today?
Yeah.
We've got one step up. Sure, they're probably doing like 45 minutes an hour.
Yeah.
We're out here for 2.5 to 3 hours in that and pushing through thinking... When you get in a race or in a tough situation, you've been here before. Yeah. You're not like, this sucks.
I was on a rowing team in college. And
I was hoping you were going to say this.
Yeah, and I always had a coach when it would be super, super cold and horrible, he would look at us right before we launched the boat, and he'd say, gentlemen, let's get one up on them sons of bitches. And I was just, it's that constant. And by the way, this is a part of my psychosis because... I'm constantly thinking that somebody's out there getting one up on me. And it has become a source of paranoia. And I would like to thank that coach for contributing to my mental decline. Would you rather start in rain or have rain occur in a race or a ride? Would you rather like going, okay, it's cold, it's going to be rainy, I'm good, I understand that, it's going to be a wet ride? Or would you rather be halfway out there and have the rain hit you?
That's a tough one. Do you know what's coming? Like, did you pack in the race? Did you bring a vest?
Just answer the fucking question.
Pack?
I'm just saying,
You
like...
said bag.
God.
I would rather it wasn't raining at the beginning because it's just like I would rather...
You'd rather be surprised.
Yeah, I'd rather be surprised and hopefully have a vest or something.
Yeah.
That's me.
Paul?
I think in a race... I like when it's raining before we start because I think half the peloton's already quit.
That was me. That was me in RC3. Yeah, I was like, I don't
So-
want to do this.
Yeah. But training ride, when you're thinking, you know what, I always go through and say, okay, it's going to slow down. I'll look at the weather, pull up the weather, and it looks like in about an hour and a half, it'll like have a break. And then once you're out and it rains, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It just makes you go faster because you were trying
You
to
gotta
get home. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I think I'm of two mindsets. I really like the idea of starting and knowing that like if I'm locked in, I can be, like Paul said, half of them have checked out, but I would way rather start when it's dry and get rained on because I know that I'm going to be in the heat of the moment and immediately start thinking like, oh, like this is another thing I can maybe take advantage of.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I would rather it happen as a surprise in the middle of a race because I was sitting in my car at RC3 basically just spiraling mentally, just like going, I'm not racing. Nope, absolutely not. And that race started and I quit. That race started and I had already quit.
Yeah.
And yes, I was going as hard as I could to keep up with everybody, but if you're in that mental state going in, you're already 20% out. Yeah. And yeah, so I would rather be like, okay, it's raining. Let's do this. Let's go.
Yeah, but that 20% is like, if you're mentally there, and what in a race you get in a bad position, you have to bridge up or close a gap or whatever. When you're defeated and you start defeated, like you're saying, you'll never do that. That's when you just pull the pin. And say,
I don't want to go hard.
And that's the big difference of being, mentally ready to just take on whatever.
Little demons on your shoulder going, I told you so.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have started. Yeah. You shouldn't have done this.
I think a mental hurdle is way tougher to overcome than a physical one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh,
absolutely.
God. Yeah. Absolutely. All right. For the sake of time, I'm not going to talk about Voldemort. But there was a Twitter beef between him and Vaughters recently that was absolute childishness. That was absolute petty bullshit. And I honestly have, as somebody who produces things that are available online and media that is available to everybody else, I honestly think that we all need to be restricted in our social media where everybody has a microphone. And the irony is that we're all sitting here with a microphone in front of our face. But I can't believe the fact that people can just interject and throw their bullshit opinions in. And I just, God, it makes me sick. I'm not saying Vauders is a great guy. I don't know him. But he was throwing some shit to Thibaut Pinot, and Thibaut Pinot threw a hilarious response back, like who this?
Yeah.
New phone, who this? Which was funny. And then somebody of washed up nature, bullshit, asshole, prickhead needed to come in and throw his opinion in, and I don't got time for that guy. I don't have time for that guy. I don't understand why the world still has time for that guy. I'm not going to say his name because I don't want to get sued. And everybody knows who we are. But anyway, there we go. The keyboard is a place where chicken shits hide. It's the opposite of the bike racing asshole. Because the bike racing asshole, when you're face to face, goes, screw you! But CP would get that joke. But the opposite. I just got an email this week. Co-race director of mine with me in the 24-hour race. We got an email from a person who sent us this just nasty, horrible email about the fact that we now have to charge $12 a day for camping at the venue site. That's not our decision. That's the state park's decision.
$24.
Yeah. And this person was absolutely calling us unprofessional, saying that this person is going to cancel their credit card to enable to get a full refund back and all this kind of stuff, and just ranting at us. And I guarantee if that person were to show up to the race, I would never see this person because their chicken shit's hiding behind a keyboard.
Yeah.
And I hate the fact that people feel emboldened and empowered to type whatever they want without repercussions.
Yeah.
And sorry, I'm going off on a tangent, but it's just, and then seeing this Twitter beef thing like that, it's just like going, people just think they're being hilarious or being, empowered or emboldened by the fact that they can just type something and hit send and have no repercussions for their actions. It's just, I don't get it.
It's the same way in healthcare with instant access to your provider nowadays.
I
Some of
could
the things
imagine.
people send, I'm just like, this is so wildly inappropriate. Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
Schedule an appointment. We'll talk.
Really? Yeah.
That's usually the response. Yeah.
See, mine are always, whenever I talk to my doctor on my email, I'm just, first of all, thank you for your time. Second of all, if you got a second, could you tell me, do I have to keep taking blade blockers? Yeah.
This is really important.
I'm on the floor. I can't move. And
my chest hurts so bad. What should I do?
this,
My left side of my face is gripping you.
is that
I'm
okay?
constantly drooling and I'm losing my speech.
Respond when you feel appropriate. Thank you
you
for
for
your
your
time. Oh yeah, shit! I dropped the tape. I was so angry. I throw away my notes. I take notes on paper, and yes, people, I recycle them, but I take notes I was taught in broadcasting by a very old school person who said, you always print out your notes, and when you're finished with the page, you don't keep it on the bar. You don't keep it around. You just drop it off to the side. So that's why I've been doing this all these years, and I actually cut off the fact that I didn't include the fact that it is time for Let's Check with today's Ask Dr. David, and I hope did you know what's going on, or am I throwing you under a proverbial bus?
I saw a text.
Okay.
Briefly.
Okay. Make sure that mic's closer to you. See, it's getting farther away from
Briefly.
you. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, you can move it towards you. It swivels.
Oh wow.
Yeah, see how that works?
Yep.
So today's Ask Dr. David is talking about the dangers of overgearing. In the 80s, this was the biggest fear in the world. Juniors had to ride restrictive gearing because they were afraid of their delicate little tendons and the fact that we could all our knees would explode as we rode. Jackson's actually dealt with some of those issues, but I think that was more associated with fit. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Yeah. Original thought that there was a danger to juniors in joint development. So the question that was presented to us is, what are your thoughts on this, and does it apply to full-grown joints or even old joints? So for those of us who are mashing mega gears, doing, everybody else is doing 90, we're doing like 45 RPMs, just going, I'm good.
What are you looking at me for?
I do the same thing. I gear bash horribly. I noticed that this weekend when we were on our ride. Jackson, you were spinning more, and then I'm just like, and it just felt great.
Sam's way spinnier than even I am.
He is.
It's interesting.
That's new this year. I noticed he's very spinny this year. I don't know what he's
Maybe
doing.
that's why he's not here.
Yeah,
I think he spun
just
himself out.
Yeah, he just spun out.
Yeah,
Spiraling.
Yeah.
He's just spinning and spiraling.
Going nowhere.
Yeah.
So we start by posing this to the panel. Do we think that riding big gears is truly a danger, or is this something that is kind of a wives' tale within the sport?
I will say that I think it's a complicated question because cycling is technically qualified under a low impact sport.
Yeah.
So I think that it is probably like, Paul, I'm not going to call you out. I don't mean to call you out here.
Go ahead.
But I will say that the difference...
You really made love to the mic there.
I
That
did.
was
I
good.
did.
That was-
Well,
that was-
he's talking to me.
Yeah. I'm really talking to Paul. But not to call out Paul, but I will say that the difference in cadence between myself and Paul is rather vast.
Yeah.
Just because of you have a very different gear ratio than I do. And I wonder if over year after year after year after year after year, it probably does maybe have some effect on the joint, but I think that there are other things in our day-to-day lives, like standing on hard floors and unsupportive shoes, that probably have more of a impact on our joints rather than the sport that we do does. Make sense?
No, what's your answer?
I feel like I gave an answer.
You danced around it like it was a prom date. What? No.
I said no. I said
so no. Okay. No.
Okay. Yeah.
It was a great answer. Don't get me wrong.
I
It
feel
was
like
very
I gave an answer.
educational. It was a highly educated answer.
You're being dick now.
You're not even on the bike.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
I'm a dick.
Yep.
Paul, how do you feel about the fact that all these kids can't handle their gears?
Yeah, they should, just run like a 55,
Yeah.
44, and a straight block.
Little ring.
11 to...
Little rings
Yeah.
just for looking at.
Yeah, well, I don't... Mine barely gets used, but
It
I
is.
think
Yeah.
mine
really
is...
does. It is.
I have a picture of my crankset I took off, and I looked. I got to replace the big ring, and there's barely any paint off the 39. I thought, huh. But I think
You can hear his knees in other counties.
Yeah.
Do your knees grind when you walk upstairs?
no. Not at all.
Oops, that's just me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm falling apart, man.
With its age. I think a lot of it is genetics, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I tried during the big, huge spin craze back in the 90s. Everybody,
Yeah.
it's like I could not keep my heart rate went to the roof.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like in respiratory, and I don't have a big, volume. So I think what I had to do is compensate. I learned through all these years is that low cadence and then being able to control my breathing is how I
Yeah.
got to where I'm at.
So,
So
how do you feel it is upon your knees and joints?
I never ever have sore knees, and I push obviously a pretty big gear.
Yeah.
I've never had knee problems since then. I had knee problems from my line of work because I'm on my hands and knees a lot as a
Electrician
Yeah, there he
David. You have devolved since
Yeah,
last we
it's
saw
this,
you.
It's this
He's
freaking
wow.
Pilsner, man. Jeez, it's good.
But I had water. I had retained. I had 18 cc's drained out of my right knee
Oh,
because
shit.
that's primarily what I used when I'm working in an attic or stuff, and most of my weight's on that side. So
Okay.
yeah, that's if I had knee pain, that's where it came from.
So he gave an answer that was very similar
Yeah.
in length and he didn't say yes or no, and you're being an ass to me and not to him.
He's got a point.
I feel as if relation is playing a cause in this.
Yes, you always hurt the one you love, Jackson. The one you shouldn't hurt at all. You always break the kindest heart with a hasty word you can't recall.
Well, I'm going to bite the hand that fed me.
Wow, touche.
He's just talking in verse over there.
Yeah.
Well,
It's an old school song.
we both went to school for English, didn't we?
Yeah.
It's a rivalry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm on the fence because yes, I have creaky knees, and I haven't worked in an industry that requires that, crawling in attics and things like that. Now, are my knees weak? No, but they're a little crunchy. It sounds like a gravel road when I'm walking upstairs. But so I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence about this one, and I'm anxious to hear if you've got an opinion on it. Yeah.
Well, I don't know of any good evidence one way or the other, but my thought is that it is a low impact sport by nature, but we do know that high impact exercise or high strength training as you get older prevents bone density loss and actually keeps your muscles and tendons stronger for longer. So there's a part of me that thinks it's actually probably in a way better as you get older, at least, to be pushing bigger gears. And I think a lot of us do that because the spinning requires a higher heart rate, which we've talked about in the past.
What? Really?
That as you get older or take beta blockers, your heart rate goes down. So I don't think there's anything, I can't think of anything that would be detrimental if you have a proper bike fit. I know that if you, from experience, if you have a bad bike fit and you are mashing, you will get an outer knee pain from IT band syndrome if you're overusing your IT band, or an inner knee pain in that case. But I can't see any reason that it would be bad, which is probably why they lifted the restriction on the children as well. But I mean, the only thing I can tell you from medical literature is that strength training with deadlift, back squat, bench pressing has been shown to maintain bone density and integrity of muscles and tendons into older age. So I don't know. I don't think we should switch our riding style, but I don't think you need to be afraid of mashing.
Yeah.
So,
Jackson, yours was under the kneecap, wasn't yours?
Yeah. So it
your
is
knee strain.
It's like right on the right in and around the kneecap area. Sometimes it feels like it's right on the top or underneath that area. It's a weird thing that I just can't figure out, and it arises every year. It's arisen over the past couple of weeks because of just overtraining.
Yeah, it's usually pre-med school. I would get every single spring. I would get patellofemoral syndrome, which is usually under the kneecap.
It has a name.
Yeah,
wow.
It's very common, and it's that's an overuse of the quad muscle. It's just whichever muscle, based off your fit, like the quads or the lateral side or the inside. That's where the pain correlates in the knee. So it's probably
really interesting.
Yeah. Wow.
CBD cream helps a lot. So.
Especially if you accidentally put your contacts in after you've rubbed.
Well, we all live and learn, right?
Yeah. No, I'm not picking on you. I mean, I have a chamois cream with CBD in it, and
that's a whole.
Put my contacts in afterwards. You add CBD and menthol to your eyeball.
A little bit of taint sweat.
Perfect
concoction.
Do you mix the CBD cream with the asshole bleach?
Oh! I believe we've just invented a new cocktail. Final question, everybody. Let's end the show with the final K. The final question. What is the most ridiculous thing you have purchased for cycling? You were like, oh my God, this was insanely expensive. This was dumb. And then afterwards you actually went, holy shit, it was worth every penny. Have you ever purchased something like that? I will go first. I will say it. I bought a quad bike rack for my RV. 2-bike rack. It's the classic trailer hitch unit, and you don't take a wheel off anymore. You put the bike on there, you put the strap over the back wheel, nice. And you bring a rod up and and you zip it right on there, and you're off to the races.
You guys are now.
Well, you got us all thinking. Like,
Yeah, all right.
like 8-year-olds. Not 8-year-olds, 8th graders. Oops.
Yeah.
I was ahead of my time back in
I thought it was Catholic school. That's all.
Exactly. Yeah. So I spent and this rack, you actually can pull a cable out of the tray.
You said rod and then rack and then.
Oh man!
Then I said pull out of the tray, and you can lock the bikes to the device. And I just went. I spent $800 on that thing, and it was during COVID, so there were no other options available. You know how hard I'm trying to avoid the word rack right now. There were no other options available, so I bought it. And my wife was looking at me, going, "Why did you spend $800?" I don't know. We got to go to. This is when we went to San Diego, and I am so glad I bought that rack. It works. I move it back and forth to my other car because it's you're not taking a wheel off, you're not loading it up on the top of your car, it's zipping, you're going. Yes, it is an expensive bumper, but it's, oh my god, I love that damn thing. Insanely expensive, but I love every penny I spent. Who wants to go next?
If I'm being really honest, I haven't really purchased under my own weight a lot of the things that I own, and I'm in a very lucky situation. But I'm
still paying off your bike.
Well, that's what I mean.
The one with the scratch?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that one.
That one.
Yeah.
Thanks, Paul. That one.
But I will say that the only real substantial cycling purchase that I've made are the wheels that I've recently purchased. And by no means though is that a stupid purchase. Exactly. Yeah. It was well worth all of the money that I spent on it. Just like I never realized the amount that the difference that a very high-end wheel set can really make.
Yep.
It's night and day, and no shade thrown to what the BMC proprietary wheels were. It was just this is a very pro level wheel set, and it was, boy, was it a jump.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And by the way, after you called me a dick, I'm transferring the credit to you.
The credit,
the card payments.
Well,
yes, and Sam is texting us saying that he's mad that and I'm going to quote Sam.
Okay.
You fuckers are asking Dr. Dave orthopedic questions? You know who has answers to orthopedic questions?
Well, is he here?
Outpatient orthopedic physical therapists! Exclamation, 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 exclamation. So he's listening. But he couldn't show up. Do you think he has a Bluetooth speaker outside the shower that he's in the fetal position rocking back and forth in?
Could be. Okay. Could be.
Just checking. Just checking. Paul, stupid purchase, but then you loved it.
Well, I'm hoping
not a downtown home.
This is a recent purchase. Yeah, not a downtown home. I'm liking it so far.
Yeah.
But it deals with the downtown home.
Oh.
So I needed to get a commuter bike, and I did research upon research.
You
because
did
I
it?
Don't, yeah, I pulled it. I did it. I pulled it. I yanked it. I
just going everywhere you can.
I just watching David.
What did you pull out?
That was the loudest you ever been.
Yeah.
My headphones actually almost came off my head.
It blew my headphones right off.
Somebody's car speakers just went.
God damn those guys! I'm not listening to them again.
Yeah.
So what I wanted was something that when it's crappy weather, wipe it down.
Sure.
I don't have to worry about oil and grease outside the tire. So I had to choose a belt.
Holy God. Sam, get your ass over here.
Control your brother.
Yeah.
So sophomoric. Anyway, so
here, I'll mute him during.
Yeah.
There you go.
So I went with belt drive, and then I was trying to figure out internal hub. So blah blah blah, and I came across this one particular.
Wait,
one.
stop for a second.
Internal.
Do you hear how quiet it is?
I know it.
The ambient noise.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to turn Dave's mic on. off.
What's the outside, maybe?
Is that because you have it turned up?
Yes, that's because I have your mic so cranked.
Yeah.
I'll just live right
Those
here.
helmets are making noise. It's turned up so much.
Yeah.
Right behind you.
Belt drive.
Belt drive. And then I came across this thing, and this particular company makes a commuter that it's not an internal rear hub, which has its problems, and there's different versions of Planetary. And anyway, this one is called Opinion 112. It's a 12-speed, and it's based off of a car. It's out of Germany. This transmission, and of course that. The whole idea is having everything internal, so there's no external gears other than your belt and stuff. So the maintenance should be it's self-contained. So it's like, do I pull the trigger because there's more money than I really wanted to spend to have this thing? But I'm hoping it's something I love.
Okay.
If it's
so
a
you
turd,
haven't
I
got
get
to
it
the
Saturday.
point yet. Okay.
So I receive it. So I think this could be one of those things I love. I've already sold myself on the idea, obviously, but we'll see. Mm-hmm.
David, what's a purchase you have entered into and have realized that you spent way too much money, but actually at the tail end of it came out going, that was worth it. That was worth it.
I think I got a pretty sweet rain jacket this year, and I was like, man, is that really like a Gore-Tex?
Is it black?
It's actually blue because it was still on sale.
So that's not spending. It's just
but it was still a lot of money, and I was like, do I really need this jacket? But man, is it cool to have like a jacket that will beat any element.
Yeah.
And then just gonna throw it out there, I didn't buy this, but I borrowed somebody's super nice bike case. And at first I was like, you paid $900 for this bike case? And then I took my brand new bike down to slow, and it took a huge hit in the plane, and it dented the frame of the bike, of the case. And I was like, okay, I see why you bought you paid so much for this case.
Yeah.
And your friend says, I want my $900 for the dent.
Well, I got a new portion of the frame for $30. So it was like, it was, but that to me, I was like, that is an insane amount of money, but it protected my brand new bike. So
I haven't flown with my bike in so long.
I don't want to do it again.
Yeah.
I used
to have a really nice one, and my wife and I still have one. It's under the porch right now.
Is it a hard case?
Yeah.
Nice.
And it's a tandem case. It's as long as this bar. And I haven't taken it out since. I haven't taken it out
Europe
since Europe. Yeah.
You just looked at me. You just said I hadn't.
I just side-eyed you.
Just side with the.
I haven't whipped it out in a while.
Jesus H. Christ.
So
whoa.
it's a case.
Yeah, well, you don't whip out a case.
Yeah, you do.
All right. All right.
All right.
I like to see that.
Big pause. There.
So what you're saying? So this case is kind of like a sheath.
Yeah.
Over your bike.
Yeah.
Okay. Where's the outro, folks? Where's the outro?
Thank you, everybody. Thanks for everybody for listening to us and tolerating us and dealing with the childish nature that we have.
Look into
383 episodes we've been doing this kind of shit. So if this is your first episode, stick with us. It'll get better.
Yeah.
And if you've been with us for a long time, be sure and subscribe, like, and tell a friend, and we'll keep going. There we go. Thanks, everybody. Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you.
Thank you.